Hello everyone, this is Ryan with CRS Labs, and I welcome you back to our playthrough as the Khell'Zen Order in its attempt to survive in a hostile galaxy within the game Stellaris. Where we left at last time is that we started being engaged in not one, but two wars. The first of which is this war against the Oxbroxy Mandate, of which we are defending our ally. The thing with this war, though, is that we can't actually get to where it's being fought. It's all the way up here. We'd have to actually go through the United Nations of Earth to do that. But you might be saying, well, Ryan, those borders don't look closed to me. Why wouldn't you be able to go up there and help your ally? Well, friend, that's because of the second war, in which we're at war with the United Nations of Earth and the Sutharian Democratic Tribes. The reason why we're at that war is I declared it aggressively because they are also at war with the other Khell'Zen, who are our allies as well, the Khell'Zen Star Dynasty. So there are two separate wars, though. So I decided maybe do a little opportunism, take advantage of that, and see if we can't get a couple of systems away from the United Nations of Earth. In particular, what I really want to do is take this system Khell'Zen, so I can like cut them off, and then ideally what we can do is work our way down and kind of basically cut them off from an expansion path. So with that said, let us get started on what's going on today. So it looks like on our home world we have some construction options we can do. We could add a building slot, which would be helpful as we don't have any jobs available right now. We can also upgrade to planetary capital. Let's see, what do we need? It looks like we need some consumer goods. So I'm going to go ahead and put another civilian industry down, and then that'll be it for construction there for the moment. And let's take a look at our policies while we're running on normal. We are running on mixed economy right now. If we needed, we could switch this over to militarized if we find ourselves really hard for alloys. I don't think we're there yet. We already moved over to Marketplace of Ideas, which is great because it will help us with our attempts to build more and more unity. Alright, and we've got some colonies going. We could start to create some sectors, so I don't have to micro them, but I think for right now it's manageable. And we have this fleet coming up to join our main fleet, so we can do a nice push into the Earthlings territory. And it looks like we
Star system charted.
do have some destroyers in that fleet. Oh, actually, it looks like we have some new communications from an elective monarchy. Well, that is interesting. They share our authoritarianism, so they might be friendly to us. Where are they located? Pretty far away, it looks like. Alright, so let's refocus on this war. I do want to queue up some ships for this. And we're going to go to fast, because I think we're going to move in with the two fleets together. Especially since they do have a fleet there to defend and a reasonably strong station. So if I can come in with closer to 2.7 to 3K, that would be good. Let's see. Looks like Oblivion is the closest planet I have. So why don't we go ahead and start recruiting some armies here in case we end up needing them.
Star system charted. Anomaly found.
And let's get a leader for this smaller fleet. Maybe somebody does speed. Excellent. Because I think these are all... Yeah, this is going to be like a swarm fleet.
Construction complete.
We're just going to queue up.
Construction.
some construction
complete.
there. Let's see, can we afford to do this upgrade? We need minerals. We could hop in the market and go ahead and take care of that need real quick. Do we have anything we can sell? Get some food.
Technology secured.
Actually, we'll probably sell some of these moats too. And then buy like 1,000 minerals.
Construction complete.
And then get that upgrade in. We do need some new research. We've got some choices here. Oh, null void beam. I'm not familiar with this one. By harnessing the entropic nature of the null void, this beam can actually destroy energy. Wow, 400% shield damage. I kind of want that. We could put that in our build. That might be interesting, especially when we get some larger ships. All right, let's go ahead and let's take on the station. I expect the resistance to become heavy after this first move.
Star system charted.
If you notice, but this system is really also only like 2 jumps away from their capital.
Technology secured. Construction.
Oh, let's start
complete.
researching cruisers.
Attacking enemy assets.
Looks like we're going to be able to take the station down pretty easily. And we have... These ships looks like they got banged up. I'm going to send them back to repair. This fleet is looking pretty decent. Let's see. Which direction do we want to go with this? I suppose we could start heading south. Although actually, before I make that choice, why don't I double check and see what claims I've made? Okay, so it looks like I started making claims down this way. So we definitely want to take Seiya and Zorf, which I'm guessing I made the claim of because there are some troops there. Yeah. Kind of do that for now. And then we'll see where we're at. Demia Prime also looks like they could use a building. We have a temple there, already have some civilian industries. I kind of think I want to build some research here, as we could use some more of that. Alright, so we got the research queued up. Our fleet is moving. Looks like our ally is losing that war, which is unfortunate. I really wish I could help them. Although, they're really, I guess they're not so much, well, that's kind of strange. So like losing it on war exhaustion, but they have occupied systems. So they might be okay. We're gonna keep building up the swarm fleet.
Technology secured.
Looks like we managed to take Seiya. Null beam is finished, which is nice. We'll have to look at the ship designer and see if it's useful. One thing I definitely want to get is these FTL inhibitors, so that way folks can't just like fly around our fortresses when we build them. That would be kind of annoying.
Complete. Spaceport under attack.
They've sent this like 72 ship over this way for some reason. I mean, it's clearly, yeah, that's really about the only result that was going to happen from that. That Not really sure what their plan was for that one.
Technology secured.
Ooh, we want psionic theory. Yes, we do, because that will allow us to finally use this ascension perk. Because I think this would be our third, right? Yeah. We become psionic, which is going to do some wonderful things for our ability to develop. It gives our leaders some bonuses. It will let us go into this interesting thing where we can like reach into the shroud, which is super cool. Okay, so we need some jobs, and we have like no districts really here yet. What sort of resources do we need more of? Well, we could use some more money. So I'm just going to queue those up right now. And that can be it for the moment. So, let's see, what else do we... Oh, actually that is... We also have this marked off on the situation log. Which one are we tracking? Was it the Fellowship? Yeah, so the Fellowship, I guess, was here, but since they own the system, did they just die? Maybe we should go and check that out since we're here. And we do have the benefit of this 1.1k station kind of acting as a bit of a barrier to entry. And we can more or less have our way down here while they're sorting that out.
Star system charted.
And we could probably invade this world. And we're probably, in order to end this war, I think we're going to end up needing to take the capital. Now, I'm not suggesting necessarily we want to make claims on the capital. It'd probably be very expensive. Although it would be crippling. But we also don't have near the influence for that at the moment.
Construction complete.
Alright, looks like we have fixed the unemployment situation for the moment. Oh, okay. So we found the cultists, finally. This is the events that happened at the very beginning of the campaign, where these folks were kind of rogue elements in our society. So the cultist flagship says, "So you have found us at last. No matter. My disciples are more than willing to give their lives for the future of the Khell'Zen species. I am that future, in case you didn't realize. When we have dealt with your pitiful forces, my holy flagship shall carry me to Sutharia, where we will at last cleanse our homeworld of non-believers." I'm guessing this fight is not going to go well for them, since, yeah, 2.3k versus that. Oh, so actually they are fighting against the Earth Station. And then we're going to come in. This is going to be some weird like three-way battle if our fleet gets there before they finish off the United Nations of Earth Station. We do need a new scientist, though. We don't have one with... I guess adaptable will have to do.
Star system charted.
It looks like we have an event that's going to be about boarding the cultist flagship. And this says, "Our forces have managed to disable the flagship of the Fellowship. Its weapons and engines are no longer functional, but life support systems remain stable. we should prepare for a boarding action. Due to the large number of armed cultists within the ship, a significant number of troops will be necessary to secure it. Now let's take a look at what this requires. We need a transport ship. Alright, so why don't we go ahead and have our transport fleet head on over here, since we're going to head into their space anyway. May as well just take care of this mission first. We're at the very least going to invade this planet, if not perhaps Earth as well. There's also a raiding fleet just kind of coming through the area. Thankfully they are not hostile, as I imagine they would crush us. Yes, they would. Alright, this one we can continue to reinforce. And then this fleet, let's just go ahead and start occupying systems.
Star system charted.
I actually can't get down here without a science ship coming, so I may ignore this part for the time being and then start heading north.
Construction complete.
We can go straight for their capital after. Take care of all that. Guess we also shouldn't ignore the expansion we've been doing down here. I think we got to the planets of largest interest, except for this. I did want to get to the Merchant Guild, in part because there's an archaeological site there as well. So why don't we have you, and then build a starbase. Decide that it has a colonizable world. Just have you move there. And we need to have somebody start building up on these things that are a little behind. Alright. Our empire grows.
Star system charted.
It appears the tide has turned a little bit on our allies, which is somewhat concerning.
Tactical retreat.
Let's see. What have we got here? I guess our fleet's still just more or less moving without any sort of competition. Our
Technology secured.
transport is almost here to do the boarding event. We do have a new technology. The planetary FTL, or the FTL inhibitors is finished, so we can choose a new one. Let's go ahead and get wormhole travel, as I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have, yeah, we've got a wormhole in Witter and a wormhole in Escola. So it would be really nice to figure out where those go, so we can sort out what sort of defenses, if any, we need to have on them.
Star system charted.
I will laugh though if they just go to each other. That sort of thing is possible. Interesting. So that is a war that is over, which will have consequences for this war. We're not quite to settle status quo yet. But hopefully they've beaten up on each other enough that,
Construction complete.
that we can hold out. Oh, interesting. So it looks like I've caught their fleet unawares, and it is not going well for them. I guess that's why I guess that's why it's rated as pathetic now, because it's gotten blown up.
Tactical retreat.
Alright, so what I think we'll do is we'll continue trying to occupy these systems in their southern portion. And then we'll do a repair. We'll regroup up.
Complete.
Oh, it looks like our little special project finished. Cultist flagship secured. After slowly fighting their way deck by deck, our Marines have finally eradicated the last pockets of resistance on the former flagship of the Fellowship. Few prisoners were taken, as most of the zealous cultists preferred to throw their lives away in futile suicide attacks. The cult's leader was found on the vessel's bridge, killed by her own hand. At long last, it looks like the Fellowship has met its end. Our engineers have restored power to the ship's engines and has been pressed into service with our fleet as the dawn of creation. The vessel should be brought to a spaceport as soon as possible for more permanent repairs. Well, that's nifty. We got ourselves a little ship. Supposedly it's a battleship class, although the combat looks like it needs some repairs. So we're gonna take it back to do that. Actually, we're gonna have it go all the way back home. Well, not home, but to our fortress.
Construction complete.
So that way there's no chance of it getting attacked on accident. All right, it looks like we had adopted last time the prosperity tree for our traditions, so we're going to go ahead and continue our path there. We could take something that is building upkeep and district upkeep, or we can reduce their costs. I think with our money situation, I want to reduce upkeep. It may not have a huge effect right now, but any little bit with our fleet out is helpful. Speaking of which, can we do an edict for this? We don't have enough influence. Seems we're having some influence eaten up by agreements. The defensive pact's probably the biggest thing. We do also have a non-aggression pact and some commercial pacts. That might be something to look at and address here soon if influence continues to be a bit of a limiter. Like, for example, if we look at our contacts, who do we have? So those are our two defensive pacts. Where is... the Commonwealth of Man is who we have the non-aggression pact with. They're kind of far away. I don't know that we really need this relationship, so I'm going to go ahead and break this and save a little influence. They'll still like us, and the negative impact will go away over time. The two defensive pacts, I think we'll have to see how this war goes. If we're able to break the United Nations of Earth, more or less, before this war ends, or at least do some significant damage, I'll feel safe maybe breaking one of these treaties. As much, it's just really nice having like their two fronts available for help. I'll have to think about that one.
Receiving communications.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and not do that right now.
Star system charted.
Actually, I'm going to kick this up to fastest for a minute while we wait for some of our fleet actions to happen. Oh, actually, before we do that, looks like we need a building here on for our colony. As always, we want a temple to start. Assuming I can figure out where it is to click it. There we go. We also want to start thinking about colonizing some new worlds here soon. This one's probably our next capable candidate. I mean, the Savannah world maybe is okay. 70% is alright. If this planet were more habitable, it'd be great. A 25 slot would be pretty cool. Maybe we can terraform that. Ah, I'm guessing that this little 1-star thing, based on its contents, is probably one of those raiders. Probably
Star
inhabit these.
system charted. Receiving communications.
Well, our allies got their own other allies. And these folks are just going to give us money, so we're going to say sure. Guess we're doing something they like.
Construction complete.
Alright, let's get
Receiving
this thing
communications.
repaired. And then we'll be able to assess its combat power.
Star system charted.
Up here come raiders again. I wonder where they're going. I'm just glad they're not hostile to us. I do not feel like fighting those folks yet. Down the road, maybe. We're definitely gonna hit a point where we're gonna be able to crush them, and it probably will be worthwhile to do so. Let's see. Actually, for this one, probably good to get a gene clinic in here. I guess the next opportunity will probably also need to build consumer goods again. Let's also move this back. Wow, okay, this thing by itself is a 1.4K. Oh no, that's our swarm ship. Okay,
Communications.
swarm fleet's 1.4K. The cult ship's only 272, which is it's all right. What is it? What does it got? Bunch of lasers. I wonder if we'll be able to upgrade it.
Technology secured.
Guess not. Not sure. Maybe if we end up joining with another fleet, we'll be able to. It'd be kind of not that great if we're not able to. I don't need any more relationships right now. We're gonna need more naval capacity soon. Yeah, let's go for that. After years of study, some researchers on Wizard Prime are beginning to feel they understand the null void. There are currents, forces, some flow which gently pushes against the portal to Witzer Prime, bringing the traces of dark matter we were able to collect. In theory, it should be possible to make our portal more visible to this force, which should result in a larger harvest. Intriguing. Okay, that's going to be in the situation log. Probe the void. I am just super curious about this, so I think it's worth it because it's fun. Maybe it's not very min-max, but it does seem fun. I like seeing where these story events go. I feel like that's a considerable chunk of what makes this game fantastic. Build a star base over here. Oh, did our research on psionics ever finish? Oh, it did probably a while ago and I forgot. Which means we should be able to go psionic now. Yep. Do this mind over matter thing. Boom. Since the dawn of our civilization, tales have flourished of mighty sorcerers wielding powers that can only be described as supernatural in nature. These rare Khell'Zen could supposedly invade the minds of their fellows, lift heavy objects with merely a thought, or perform any number of other magical feats. Until recently, these stories were just that, stories. Now, however, our scientists have finally obtained conclusive evidence that proves the psionic potential inherent in certain Khell'Zen individuals. Although only a very small minority of our species as a whole seems to be gifted with psionic powers, their numbers relative to the total population have grown steadily over just the last few centuries. Whether this is due to some kind of sudden evolutionary growth spurt, or because something has triggered latent psionic abilities that were always present in our genetic code, Scientists cannot say. A glimpse, perhaps, of the future that awaits us. This is great. Gives us access to psionic armies. Some of our folks are going to start having the psionic trait, which gives like research bonuses and stuff. It is pretty awesome. I don't think we get the project though until later. Yeah.